All right, so you're getting ready for an industrial pharmacist interview. That's got to be exciting. We're here to help you out with some awesome resources from RoleCatcher and do a deep dive into what you can expect and how to just totally nail it.
Sounds good.
So we're going to unpack some sample interview questions and give you some pro tips on how to answer those and sprinkle in some career insights along the way. Ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Industrial pharmacy is such a dynamic field, and the interview process really lets you showcase your passion and your knowledge and all your skills.
Okay, so before we even get to the questions, let's take a step back. Let's just paint a picture of what an industrial pharmacist actually does.
Okay.
The RoleCatcher Career Guide is super helpful for this.
Right. It goes beyond that image of someone in a white coat just making pills.
Right.
Industrial pharmacists, they're involved in every stage of the drug life cycle, from research and development to testing, manufacturing, quality assurance, and then, of course, all those super important regulatory guidelines.
So it's a blend of scientific expertise, problem-solving skills,
Yeah,
and just like meticulous attention to detail.
absolutely.
And it's all aimed at bringing safe and effective medications to patients.
Exactly. It's a high-stakes field. It has a huge impact on healthcare. You can really weave that into your answers during the interview.
Oh, that's a great point. Okay, so now let's dive into those sample questions from RoleCatcher's interview guide and questions repository. And don't worry, we'll help you craft some answers that'll really impress. So first up, what inspired you to pursue a career as an industrial pharmacist? Now, this one seems pretty straightforward, but what are they really looking for here?
Yeah, they want to see what drives you, your passion.
Mhm.
Was it a specific scientific breakthrough that sparked your interest, or maybe a personal experience that highlighted how important medication is? Or maybe a desire to, contribute to developing life-saving treatments.
So it's about connecting your personal motivations to the broader impact of industrial pharmacy.
Exactly. And remember, a compelling story can really make a difference. So let's say you were inspired by a family member who, they benefited from a groundbreaking new drug. Sharing that anecdote and linking it to your desire to, contribute to those breakthroughs can make your answer more memorable.
That's a great example. And I think it's also a good opportunity to highlight any experiences that demonstrate your passion, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe you volunteered at a hospital pharmacy or participated in a research project during your studies.
Absolutely. Weaving those experiences into your story just shows that you've actively sought out opportunities to learn and grow in the field. It reinforces your genuine interest in industrial pharmacy.
Okay, next question. What are some of the key responsibilities of an industrial pharmacist? Now, this one feels a bit trickier. It's tempting to just list tasks, but how do we make our answers stand out?
You're right, you're right. A simple list won't cut it. They want to see that you understand the depth and the breadth of the role. Remember those key functions we talked about earlier: research and development, testing, quality assurance, regulatory compliance. Those are your building blocks.
So instead of just saying, like, research and development, we could have a specific example of a research project we were involved in or, a particular aspect of drug development that really fascinates us.
Exactly. Let's say you have experience with analytical techniques like HPLC or mass spectrometry. You could mention how those techniques play a critical role in quality control and then ensuring the purity and the potency of the medications.
That's a great way to showcase your technical knowledge and connect it back to those practical responsibilities of the role. And speaking of showcasing your knowledge, how about this question? How do you stay up to date with the latest developments in the pharmaceutical industry?
This one's all about demonstrating your commitment to constantly learn, continuous learning.
Right.
It's not enough to just say, I read industry news. Everyone's going to say that.
Okay, so we need to be specific and actually mention those concrete sources.
Hmm.
Like, what journals do we subscribe to? Do we attend any industry conferences?
Exactly. Name dropping those sources shows you're actively engaged in the field. For example, you could mention reading the Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences or attending the AAPS annual meeting. That's the American Association of Pharmaceutical Scientists, by the way.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And to really impress them, we could even mention a recent breakthrough that sparked our interest, right? Something specific to industrial pharmacy, of course.
Absolutely. Let's say you're fascinated by the advances in continuous manufacturing and how it's revolutionizing drug production. Mentioning that shows you're not just keeping up with the trends, but thinking critically about how they're shaping the future of the industry.
Okay, before we move on to the next set of questions, I want to quickly touch on something that can really help you prepare. RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools.
Oh, those are fantastic. Their CV resume builder can help you tailor your application to specific job descriptions, ensuring that you highlight the most relevant skills and experience.
Exactly. And their interview prep tools allow you to practice your answers and even get feedback specific to industrial pharmacist roles.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a personalized coaching session.
It really is. They can help you identify any gaps in your responses and suggest ways to, like, improve your delivery. And speaking of delivery, let's tackle another question that often trips people up. This next one, it's a classic behavioral question. Can you describe a time when you had to overcome a significant challenge in your work? They're not just interested in the problem itself, but you know how you actually approached it.
It's all about those problem-solving skills.
Yeah.
So did we face a complex research problem? Or maybe a project hit a snag because of, unexpected regulatory hurdles.
Exactly. Choose an example that's relevant to industrial pharmacy and highlights your ability to think critically and adapt to those changing situations.
So when we're telling this story, should we kind of like break it down into steps? Like what actions we took, the outcome, and what we learned?
Absolutely. That structure shows a clear thought process. So let's say you were working on a formulation that kept failing a stability test. You could walk them through how you investigated the causes, right? The potential causes, how you adjusted that formulation, and ultimately overcame the challenge.
And I guess it's also okay to talk about a time we made a mistake, as long as we highlight what we learned from it.
Absolutely. It shows humility and a commitment to growth. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, right? It's how we learn and improve from them. That's what really matters. And speaking of learning and improvement, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you practice your answers to these behavioral questions.
Oh, that's right. It can point out areas where we might be too vague or where we could add more detail to really showcase our skills.
Right.
That's so helpful. Okay, ready for another question?
Bring it on.
Okay. All right, here's one that focuses on a critical aspect of industrial pharmacy. How do you ensure that your work meets regulatory requirements and quality standards? Compliance is key in this field.
Absolutely. This question assesses your understanding of good manufacturing practices, or GMP. It's a set of regulations that ensures the quality and the safety of all those pharmaceutical products.
So it's about more than just saying, I follow the rules.
Right.
We need to be specific about our experience with documentation, audits, and those standard operating procedures.
Exactly. Think back to your experiences. Maybe you implemented a new quality control system or you trained colleagues on those GMP guidelines. The more detail you provide, the better. It shows them you understand the seriousness of compliance and are really dedicated to upholding the highest standards.
Speaking of high standards, this next question seems to really get at the heart of what industrial pharmacy is all about. Can you describe your experience with drug development and testing? This is where we showcase our technical expertise.
Absolutely. They're looking for evidence of your understanding of that whole drug development life cycle. Have you worked on any projects related to drug discovery, formulation, or clinical trials?
I remember working on a project in university where we had to develop a new formulation for a poorly soluble drug. We had to experiment with different excipients and techniques to improve its bioavailability.
That's a great example. You can walk them through the process, highlighting your contributions, even if you were part of a larger team. Did you help design those experiments, analyze data, or even write reports? These are all valuable experiences.
And if we have any specific certifications or training related to drug development, this is the perfect time to bring those up.
Absolutely. It shows you've taken that initiative to develop your expertise in this area. And it's also worth thinking about how your experiences align with the specific focus of the company you're interviewing with.
Oh, that's smart. So if they're known for innovation in a particular therapeutic area like oncology, we could tailor our answer to highlight any experience we have in that area.
Exactly. It shows you've done your research and are genuinely interested in their work.
Okay, here's a question that seems a bit unexpected. How do you ensure that your team is motivated and engaged in their work? Now, this isn't explicitly a management position, so why are they asking about teamwork?
They're assessing your leadership potential. Collaboration is really essential in industrial pharmacy, and they want to see that you can inspire and motivate others even if you're not, directly managing them.
So how should we approach this one? Should we talk about our beliefs on teamwork, like setting clear goals, providing regular feedback, or fostering a supportive environment?
Yes. And then back it up with those concrete examples. Have you ever mentored a colleague or taken the lead on a project that needed, strong teamwork? Those experiences show your ability to collaborate and achieve those common goals.
And what about professional development? Does that tie into team motivation?
Absolutely. Have you encouraged colleagues to go to conferences or help them acquire new skills? These are all signs of a strong leader who cares about their team members' growth. And you know what? RoleCatcher actually has a module on leadership skills that can be super helpful for preparing for these types of questions.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll have to check that out. Okay, back to the interview questions. This next one brings us back to compliance. Can you describe your experience with regulatory compliance and quality control audits? It feels like they're really emphasizing the importance of this.
They are, and for good reason. Patient safety is absolutely paramount in this field. This question allows you to showcase your meticulousness and your attention to detail.
So we should talk about any involvement we've had with, internal audits or inspections by regulatory bodies like the FDA.
Exactly. Describe your role in that whole audit process. Did you prepare documentation, conduct those internal reviews, or implement corrective actions? Be specific about the procedures you followed and the systems that you use to ensure compliance.
And I guess if we have any certifications related to quality management systems or auditing, this would be a good place to mention them.
Absolutely. It shows your commitment to upholding the highest standards and reinforces your credibility in this area.
Okay. Ready for the last question in this set? It's a big one.
Okay.
How do you balance the need for innovation and creativity with the need for regulatory compliance and patient safety?
Wow.
That seems like a tricky balancing act.
It is. This question is all about finding that sweet spot between pushing the boundaries of scientific advancement and adhering to those strict regulations that ensure patient well-being.
So they want to see that we understand the complexities involved and can navigate that balance effectively. How do we even begin to answer this one? I guess we could start by talking about our approach to incorporating those new technologies or methodologies while still making sure they meet those regulatory requirements.
Yeah, that's a good starting point. Perhaps you've been involved in implementing a new risk management system or developing those training programs that keep your team, up to date on the latest compliance guidelines. Those are good examples to share because they really highlight your proactive approach to balancing innovation and safety.
And it's really about collaboration, too.
Yes.
We need to work with different teams like regulatory affairs, quality assurance, and even clinicians, just to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Exactly. Highlighting those collaborative efforts shows that you understand the importance of that, multidisciplinary approach to drug development.
Yeah.
It's not just about working in a silo, it's about bringing together all those different perspectives to make those safe and effective and innovative medications and just make them a reality.
Speaking of different perspectives, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that can be really helpful in gaining insights into those various career paths. The RoleCatcher Career Guide. It outlines, typical responsibilities and even provides sample profiles for different stages of an industrial pharmacist's career.
It's a fantastic resource for, envisioning your career trajectory.
Yeah.
I think it's worth taking some time to reflect on what aspects of those different career stages really resonate with you right now. Like, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
That's a good point. Thinking about those goals and being able to articulate them clearly during the interview, that can really set you apart. Shows potential employers you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a career path where you can grow and make a meaningful contribution.
Absolutely. And remember, the interview is a two-way street. It's not just about them evaluating you. It's also a chance for you to assess if their company culture, their values align with yours. Do they foster innovation? Do they prioritize patient well-being? Are they committed to professional development?
Those are all great questions to keep in mind because at the end of the day, we want to find a role where we can truly thrive and make a difference and, feel passionate about the work we're doing.
Well said. And while you're reflecting on your goals and assessing that company culture, don't forget about the practical tools that can help you prepare for the interview itself. RoleCatcher's AI-powered interview prep tools can really be a game changer. They let you practice your answers, get feedback tailored to, industrial pharmacist roles, and even refine your delivery through those video practice sessions.
It's like having a personal coach right in your pocket.
Right.
And speaking of having a secret weapon, their AI-powered CV resume builder, that can really help you tailor your application to those specific job descriptions, ensuring you highlight the most relevant skills and experiences.
Right. It's all about using those resources to put your best foot forward. And as you embark on this exciting journey into the world of industrial pharmacy, remember the incredible impact that you can have. You're not just developing medications, you're potentially improving and even saving countless lives.
Wow, that's a powerful thought, and it's a pretty amazing thing to be a part of.
Yeah.
So as you gear up for that interview, remember to be authentic. Showcase your passion, highlight those relevant skills, and just utilize all the amazing resources that are available to you.
Yeah, you got this.
Good luck with your interview. We hope this deep dive has given you the insights and the confidence you need to shine.